Hello, beautiful vegans. I'm excited to be here with you all today. Normally, I have a guest, and I'm the guest and the host of the show, the host of Empowered Vegans live stream show. My name is Mariquita Solis. Mariquita Solis. For people that can roll their R's, I'll let you do that. I never really mastered that. I am, a vegan empowerment coach. I'm at my brother's house here, tucked into one of these rooms. And hopefully we have a good signal. There are no issues, but again, I am perfectly imperfect. Just to put that out there, this live stream is perfectly imperfect. We're going to do our best here. I'm excited to see who is here. Please let us know who's watching, and please put your comments or questions in the chat. And give StreamYard permission to use your name at the top of the description. So today we're going to be talking about something that has come up for me recently in my own personal relationships. And it's so important that we do this when we're communicating with other people so that we can be heard and they can be heard. It's huge. It's very big, and we don't talk about it enough. We talk about around it, and we might bring it up every now and then, but this is something that needs to be addressed head on. So let's address it. Now, I'm going to be sharing some slides, so let's hope that it all goes well. Let's have a grounding. This is what I do for my clients. We start off with a grounding exercise. So let's just do that. If you want to close your eyes, if you feel like it, if you're in a safe space, just close your eyes and let's take some deep breaths. Breathing in every living being on this planet, connecting to their hearts, connecting to our heart space, sending love out to the universe. Just feeling the warmth of the universe, sending that love back. Imagining the beautiful sun supporting us here, the rain, the moon, the winds as they blow their gentle breeze. Just imagining all these elements supporting us, the oceans, every raindrop and every burst of sunlight, standing for you and me. As we stand for our earth and our planet, standing for every living being here, connected to every living being, just feeling that connection in our hearts, the strength of every beautiful soul, standing together for our Mother Earth, and celebrating all of you all who are doing so much. I'm celebrating you, and I'm celebrating myself on this beautiful day and this hour I get to spend with you. So just breathing in the love coming from all sides. United we stand in honor of Mother Earth and her animals and ourselves. Just holding the sacred energy in this time together. And just saying yes, and so it is, and so it shall be. Well, thank you all for joining me. I want to talk about communication today. It is essential that we are good communicators as we embark on our activism journey. And I've had to master my game in this. I've really had to step up my game. I was not a good communicator for myself. Year after year after year after year after year, I didn't speak up with my voice. I didn't tell people what I believed in. I was afraid. I was afraid to share who I really was. So I communicated an accurate picture of who I was. And those days, thank God, are over, because not only do I speak up for myself, I speak up for our animals and our planet now. I've really had to study a lot to develop my communication skills, and I'm still learning every day. So with that, let's start going. Hi, Claudia. I'm happy to see you here. I knew I would be surrounded by love. So, all right, so let's get the little slideshow going, and let's see here. Okay, so the number one tip for effective activism, communication, reaching people. Hi, Angela. Thanks for joining us. This is very important. All right, so all ears ready. Here we go. Well, that's not, guess where I didn't see the slide right. We can go over this, okay. Who I am. That's me and a little possum that I was so excited to be with. I went to Lucky's Wildlife Rescue this week, and I was able to do the one thing on my bucket list, which was hold a possum. Now I've got hold a bat. And not just hold a bat, but really be in the presence of a bat. It's sharing love to the bat and feeling the love back. So anyway, so this is me, vegan empowerment coach. I went to Main Street Vegan Lifestyle last year, and I'm right now currently doing the master class. So I'm a vegan, Main Street Vegan Lifestyle coach and educator. That's a mouthful. I'm also the animal ministry leader at my church, Unity North. I'm a team member of Health, which is inspiring. I mean, it really makes me feel proud to do that, and to really share the message of good health to other people. This is something we can tell other people, whole food, plant-based, to turn your life around. Animal foods are killing us. So it's really in alignment with my mission and my beliefs. I'm a docent at the Chattahoochee Nature Center. That is a docent. I'm leading hikes. I'm also an animal handler. So I have little shows with animals like snakes, gopher tortoise, which is our state reptile, and they're in Florida too. Angela, I think they're the state turtle in Florida. So I love the gopher tortoise. They're a keystone species. If you find a turtle, please pick them up like a sandwich and don't take them out of the area you found them, because they, like many other animals, will spend their whole life trying to get back to that area. So it's important that we are very careful with other living beings and respect where they are. I am a feminine empowerment coach. Really, the feminine is discovering and allowing, listening, exploring. That's the feminine energy. So I love being a feminine empowerment coach. I was also a joyful relationship coach before this. So communication has always been something that I've been studying throughout my life, not mastering, and I'm on the road to master. The way it's up there, way up. But I'm going until I die, right? So, all right, let's go to the next slide. I don't know what's on it, so I think it is going to be the tip. Here we go. Validation. That is the top thing that we're not talking about. We talk around it. So what is validation? So it's a critical component of effective communication. It brings in healthy listening skills, establishes trust, and lays the foundation for better understanding. So what does that even mean? What is validating someone? So if I'm meeting a pre-vegan, as I like to say, pre-vegan, and they're telling me, and I say, hey, how's everything going? We develop a rapport. First, I develop a rapport with them to talk, to find out about them. Like when I went to the Nature Center the other day, someone said, to Lucky's Wildlife Rescue, they said, so what do you do for work? And I said, I'm a vegan empowerment coach. And they said, what's that? I really would like to know more. And I said, well, I empower people in my coaching programs to get out of this problem-focused mindset of anger and depression and just focusing on the problem and moving into peacefulness and power for effective advocacy. So what does that mean? They asked me. And I said, well, there's a lot of vegans that are angry and sad, and they're wanting people to change, but they don't know how to communicate. And so she said, oh, okay. So she said, that's very interesting. And so then a couple other people came in, and one said, I'm a vegan too. So that was exciting. So let's see, there was 4 of us there, 2 of us were vegans. Now, we were at a rescue, rehab, so maybe it's not so surprising, but I was excited nevertheless. And so then one of them said, I'd like to know more about that. I'm a vegetarian, but I'd like to know more. So with that, came the introduction. And so what she said was, I really love cheese. I really love cheese. And so here comes the time to validate. All right, I really love cheese. And so many times we'll say, oh, well, there are many good cheeses out there, right? And so we skip the validation, which would be, so I'm hearing what she's saying. So I'm hearing that cheese would be a problem to give up, or I'm hearing that it might be a struggle to let go of cheese. That's the validation. I'm hearing what you say, right? I'm acknowledging you're saying it. I'm not going to just go over it and just to give you the solution, but I hear you. I hear you're saying it's hard. I hear you're saying it could be a challenge, right? And that lets the person feel safe. And you haven't attacked them at all. You're really listening and you'd like to know more. Like, I hear that you're saying it's a problem or it's a challenge. So tell me more. What about is it that's a challenge for you, right? And then they might say, well, I've tried vegan cheeses and they suck. And that's what she said. And so, and I can say, yes, I've tried some vegan cheeses and they weren't very good. Yes. So I hear what you're saying and I agree with you, right? So that's building rapport. We're building rapport. And so then it went on, the conversation developed and other people joined in and we talked about vegan cheeses and I offered to make a vegan cheese and someone else was talking about, she didn't know about vegan cheeses either. So the next time I go, I'm going to take some vegan cheese. So this is why it's so, I mean, in order, if I had just said, oh my gosh, there's a lot of vegan cheeses, what are you talking about? Or some sort of way of speaking without validating, we wouldn't have built as much rapport as we did. So it's crucial that we do this. It establishes trust. Yes, you're creating a foundation of safety when you say, I hear you, right? When someone says, I can never be a vegan. So like a lot of people will hear that and they'll just feel tense. I feel tense saying it. If I hear someone say, I'll never be a vegan, I can never do that, right? Okay, first of all, I used to say that. Many people used to say that. So take a deep breath and before you speak, and before I speak, I say this to myself, before I speak, stop and bring compassion in here, right? We're bringing compassion into this field. We're speaking with empathy. So I can never be a vegan. So what can we say? We could say, well, I hear that it sounds hard. Maybe it's hard. Is that right? Are you saying it's hard to be a vegan? And ask questions. So it sounds like it could be hard. Am I right here? So you're exploring. You're not going to be just saying it's not hard anymore. It was hard 20 years ago. You're going to explore and develop this rapport, and that establishes trust. You're validating that you've heard and you care what they say, right? When you validate someone's thoughts and feelings, you build trust. When people feel heard and understood, they're more likely to open up, right? And that's what we need, is we need people to open up. And if people are opening up, they feel safe. You have created that safe space by thinking calmly, how can I speak with compassion for this person who is in this place I used to be when I said I can't be vegan? What would I have liked then? All right. So validation is a key factor in building healthy and strong relationships. Studies show that couples who validate each other stay together. I mean, the percentage is so much higher. That's crucial to validate in relationships. Empathy, again, I keep talking about empathy and compassion. These are powerful, powerful tools. And I'm going to bring up someone again who I've brought up many times, FBI negotiator Chris Voss. When he's in those hostage negotiations, he speaks with empathy. He validates. He lets them know that they've been heard. He wants to know what they need, right? We need to know, what does this person need to feel safe, to be open to the possibilities of being a vegan, to be open just to the possibilities of hearing another sentence from us, right? So this is a quiet, calm process, right? It's a seed. When we plant a seed, we want to be very delicate, right? We want to get the soil ready, right? And the soil is like creating a safe space. And then we delicately put that little seed in, and we look and make sure that it's in the right space and in the right depth, and we cover it up good, healthy soil, compassion and empathy, and then we water. We water with kindness. So validation helps people feel valued, understood, and appreciated. All right, so also, this is very important, it avoids misunderstandings. I've had a lot of conversations with people, and if there was validation going on, we wouldn't have made it all gone over to this place where there was like we've now not validated each other, and we're not on the same page. We're not on the same page, and we're over here. They're thinking I said something that I didn't, or I meant something. I meant something else. And if we had validated each other, then that would never have happened, right? So I'm hearing that you might want to hear a little bit more about veganism. I'm hearing you might want to hear a little bit more about cheese. I'm hearing you might want to hear a little bit more about my journey. And of course, they have the right to say yes or no. And it's up to me to be able to handle that with grace and dignity. If they don't want to hear any more, that's their right. And that means the seed isn't ready to go in the ground, right? So, I mean, you've planted the seed, but the seed isn't ready to bloom, right? And that's okay. I'm not going to get angry at them. I'm not going to say I failed, because I didn't fail. I did not fail. So validation minimizes misunderstandings and misinterpretations, allows people to see if the other person is willing to have a conversation. Just like I said, would you like to hear more? And invite them. I'd love to invite you to tell me more what you've heard about veganism. I'd love to hear what you think about vegan, right? So, all right, let's move on to the next slide. Reduces tension. Yes, when people feel heard and understood, it brings in calm. I know when I feel like someone's listening, it's the best gift that you can give someone, to listen without being ready to say, hey, but veganism is destroying the planet. 80 billion animals are dying a year. We're creating all these dead zones, right? Without that, I mean, when that's on my mind, I can't hear the other person. I can't validate the other person. So when people feel heard and understood, it can reduce feelings of defensiveness and hostility. Feeling heard is calming to people. It is very calming to me. All right. And so as I say that, we have to listen to ourselves too. What am I feeling? And validate ourselves. I'm feeling nervous about talking to someone about veganism. Well, then I question myself. Is it necessary that I talk to someone about veganism right now? Or maybe this isn't the right time. Maybe my body is telling me it's not the right time. How can I validate my own feelings? How can I listen to myself? How can I listen to my heart? So this might be woo-woo and all this heart stuff, but we have to have this logical side and our heart side, our emotional side and the tender side. So we want to make sure we're taking care of ourselves and that we validate ourselves as well. All right, let's go on to the next slide. It encourages open communication. Yes, again, creates a space of listening and trust. It helps people to express their thoughts and feeling without the fear of judgment. We've got to let go of judgment. Judgment is crippling in conversations. When people feel judged, they feel threatened and they shut down. They don't hear anymore. We have got to walk delicately with, again, compassion, empathy, validation. These are the key factors in healthy communication. In order for us to be heard, we have to hear them. So validation slows down conversations, which allows for more openness. Exactly. I'm not jumping off telling you all my list of facts, but no, I'm interested in you. And so isn't that beautiful when people are interested in us? I think it is. I think it's lovely when someone is interested in what I want to do, and I want to give that back to someone. I want to know about you all. I want to know about your vegan journey. I want to know what's stopping you, right? Because my mission is to empower people from these limiting beliefs. So it's beautiful when we give this gift to each other. All right, empathy, and I've been talking a lot about this. Validation is critical for empathy. It's the opposite of fixing or forcing, and it helps people understand and relate to each other's experiences and perspectives. So, empathy is crucial, and a lot of times there's a lot of blaming. We go into conversations blaming people, saying, hey, I know you don't love animals. If you're eating animals, you don't love them. I blame you for the destruction of the planet. I blame you for the dead zones, right? I blame you for the slaughterhouses because you won't stop eating animals, right? And that is hurtful. And that, again, now we've shut down all communication. And instead of listening, instead of meeting them where they are, we've just decided to go on with our agenda. So I'd love to play a video, and let me see. I mean, I have a couple of tiny little videos, and let me see I don't have a technical person with me here. So I'm going to share the screen, and let's see here. All right, get this going, because this is, Brene Brown, who she is an expert. I love her books. She's an author, and she researches on this. Okay, now I'm going to allow share screen. I'm sharing my screen. All right, and not that screen though. Now I've got to figure out how to get to the right screen. Here we go. So I hope you can hear this.
How many of you, when something goes wrong, the first thing you want to know is whose fault it is? Hi, my name is Brene. I'm a blamer. Let me just tell you this quick story. So this is a couple of years ago when I first realized the magnitude to which I blame. I'm in my house. I have on white slacks and a pink sweater set, and I'm drinking a cup of coffee in my kitchen. It's a full cup of coffee. I drop it on the tile floor. It goes into a million pieces, splashes up all over me. And a millisecond after it hit the floor, right out of my mouth is this: damn you, Steve. He was my husband. Because let me tell you how fast this works for me. So Steve plays water polo with a group of friends. And the night before, he went to go play water polo. And I said, hey, make sure you come back at 10 because you have to never fall asleep until you're home. And he got back up at 10:30. And so I went to bed a little bit later than I thought. Ergo, my second cup of coffee that I probably would not be having had he come home when we discussed. Therefore, and so the rest of the story is I'm cleaning up the kitchen. Steve calls, caller ID. I'm like, hey. He's like, hey, what's going on, babe? What's going on? So I'll tell you exactly what's going on. I'm cleaning up the coffee that spilled all like dial tone. Because he knows. How many of you go to that place when something bad happens, the first thing you want to know is whose fault is it? I'd rather it be my fault than no one's fault. Because why? Why? Because it gives us some semblance of control. But here, if you enjoy blaming, this is where you should stick your fingers in your ear and do the no thing, because I'm getting ready to ruin it for you. Because here's what we know from the research. Blame is simply the discharging of discomfort and pain. It has an inverse relationship with accountability. Accountability, by definition, is a vulnerable process. It means me calling you and saying, hey, my feelings were really hurt about this, and talking, not blaming. Blaming is simply a way that we discharge anger. People who blame a lot seldom have the tenacity and grit to actually hold people accountable, because we spend all of our energy raging for 15 seconds and figuring out whose fault something is. And blaming is very corrosive in relationships, and it's one of the reasons we miss our opportunities for empathy. Because when something happens and we're hearing a story, we're not really listening. We're in the place where I was, making the connections as quickly as we can about whose fault something was.
find y'all. All right, I'm coming back. There I am. Okay, so let me know what you thought about that, because I can be very quick to blame too, and I used to be very quick to blame in the vegan sense. I mean, in the mindset, and this is what ties us up. When that's the problem focus, right? Who am I blaming, right? Who can I blame instead of listening and validating and exploring? The feminine energy is the discovery, right? I want to discover. I want to talk to you. I want to discover how I can validate you. I can explore how I can build rapport with you. I can explore how I'm going out for activism today, what's going to work and what's not going to work. I'm going to make a note of that. So um, it's crucial. Blaming is just so toxic when it comes to relationships and communication. So I wanted to show you that before I show you the next little video, and I hope you enjoyed that, and I guess you were able to see and hear it, because I was trying to make sure, but let's see here. I'm going to show you, share screen again, and another little video by Renee. All right, select screen, entire screen, and we're going to go through this all again. Allow. All right, now everybody's seeing the whole screen, and now I'm going to try to jump over here and go to empathy.
So what is empathy, and why is it very different than sympathy? Empathy fuels connection. Sympathy drives disconnection. Empathy, it's very interesting. Teresa Wiseman is a nursing scholar who studied professions, very diverse professions where empathy is relevant, and came up with 4 qualities of empathy. Perspective taking, the ability to take the perspective of another person or recognize their perspective as their truth. Staying out of judgment, not easy when you enjoy it as much as most of us do. Recognizing emotion in other people and then communicating that. Empathy is feeling with people. And to me, I always think of empathy as this kind of sacred space when someone's kind of in a deep hole and they shout out from the bottom and they say, I'm stuck, it's dark, I'm overwhelmed. And then we look and we say, hey, I'm down. I know what it's like down here, and you're not alone. Sympathy is, ooh, it's bad, no, you want a sandwich? Empathy is a choice, and it's a vulnerable choice, because in order to connect with you, I have to connect with something in myself that knows that feeling. Rarely, if ever, does an empathic response begin with at least. And we do it all the time, because you know what? Someone just shared something with us that's incredibly painful, and we're trying to silver lining it. I don't think that's a verb, but I'm using it as one. We're trying to put the silver lining around it. So I had a miscarriage. At least you know you can get pregnant. I think my marriage is falling apart. At least you have a marriage. John's getting kicked out of school. At least Sarah is an A student. But one of the things we do sometimes in the face of very difficult conversations is we try to make things better. If I share something with you that's very difficult, I'd rather you say, I don't even know what to say right now, I'm just so glad you told me. Because the truth is, rarely can a response make something better. What makes something better is connection.
All right, I love that. I love what she says about what makes something better is connection. And I thought of, another thing I thought about was how people say, oh, well, I can't go vegan now. I mean, it's hard to go vegan. It's easy to say, well, at least there's tons of vegan products now. You should have been here 20 years ago when there weren't any. So that hit my mind right away. And it's minimizing. So again, we're talking about all these these big factors in healthy communication. And I am concentrating on validating, right? I hear that it's dark down in that hole. I hear that you need help, right? I hear that that you're struggling right now, and I care about you. I hear that you are hurting, right? So I'm looking at. Let's take a little break here. I'm looking at what Claudia is saying here. That she's saying here in France, the most common answer is we don't think at this, or we adore bullfighting. We don't think at the killing of a bull, or they say they're afraid to make the change. These are the two common points here. So, like I'm hearing you're afraid to make the change, and I'd love to hear a little bit more. I'd love to hear more, and I could see that it's a tradition here in this country. So, I mean, I can't understand that these are traditions, right, that have been bred into it. But does that mean it needs to keep happening? No, I wouldn't say that to them, but I'm saying that to you. But what exactly is it that they're feeling? You know, are they feeling a loss when it comes to tradition? Are they feeling like this is something that my family's done for years and years, and I don't know how we could stop doing this, right? And how can we have empathy for that? I mean, these are tricky things, and this takes practice. I'm not saying it's so easy. I'm saying this is something to be aware of and to bring into your conversations, right? To bring into this field of knowledge and learning. All right, I'm going to show another comment. On Facebook, I have more than 20 other Mariquita, I hope I'm saying that right, mixed family and friends with the same name. They're not animal rights fighters in the first place, but they are looking at what I do. Now there are some who like my Go Vegan pose. I think they're thinking about, and some shall make a change. Amen. We're planting seeds, right? We're planting seeds with compassion, kindness, validating. I hear that it's hard, that it's hard. The thought of going vegan is challenging for you. And I understand, or I want to show you that I understand, right? Chris Voss says, don't tell them you understand, show them. I struggled when I went with veganism, or I have a lot of friends that are working on veganism, and it's a challenge for them, and I'd love to help them, and I'd love to help you when you're ready. When you're ready, not when I'm ready, because when you're ready is inviting, right? That's exploring, that's discovery. When you're ready, I'm here for you. So that's a beautiful gift to give people. So thank you for that comment, those comments, and now let's see what else is on the slideshow. Okay, so we did this one, and let's go on to the next slide. Oh yes, improves problem solving. It improves the clarity of the situation and conversation, again, because we're not going to be making assumptions. When we validate, it's very clear. I hear you're saying that you love fried chicken. I hear you're saying you grew up on KFC, and that holds a tender space for you in your heart because your mom always used to bring it to you on the Sunday picnics or something. I'm not judging you. I'm acknowledging that. So when people again feel heard and understood, they're more likely to be open to work together to find solutions. Right? All right. And in summary, validation is a critical part of effective activism. Yes, you're laying the foundation for open communication, trust, no judgment, no blaming, judgment. All this shuts down communication. We want to be heard, but first, again, all right, again, we have to hear them first. It establishes trust, improves relationships, reduces tension, and encourages more open communication. By validating others, we can foster empathy, reduce misunderstandings, and improve our capacity for being heard. And in order for us to be heard, we have to hear others first. We have to have empathy for others first. Amen to that. So, listen, this is not something that I'm saying, okay, now you know what it is. Go out and be 100% perfect, right? I mean, do the best you can. Just take the time to let this information come in, feel it in your heart, and do with it what you think is best. So let me know in the comments what you think about this, what you thought about Brene Brown's. Was there anything that really resonated with you in this? And I'm going to show you, if you're watching and you want to be, if you want to get in on my coaching, one-on-one or group coaching, which is starting soon. I'm going to have another group coaching for activists. Yay! Starting soon. Please reach out to me. Um, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, my Facebook group. What am I forgetting? Who knows? But I'm out there. Google my name, you'll find me, and message me, DM me. And I did put a link to schedule. Supposedly it's in the description, so it better be, because the tech lady put it there. So that's it on the slides. Let's see, now let's get back to me. And so I'd love to hear what you thought about this. Is there some things that are challenging for you? For me as a vegan, it was very hard for me to sleep because I wanted to go through the blaming, right? I wanted to fixate on the sadness, and I wanted to be able to, like the little video said, and it's very easy when we blame someone else, because then I can take it off of me, right? I can make someone responsible for this, and I can just, again, like the video said, discharge that anger. It's your fault, right? I don't want to listen to you. I don't have to respect you because it's your fault this is happening. Why would I respect anybody that's eating animals, right? Well, I have to respect you. I have to listen to you if I want to be heard. It's crucial that I show you that respect that I want from you. I want you to hear me, right? I want you to let me speak. So it works both ways. But again, this wasn't something that I developed overnight. I pretended to be someone who I wasn't for years, just because I didn't believe in myself. There was no way that I would have been able to get up and do this live stream, or be the leader of the animal ministry, be the leader of the healthy living group in my church. Absolutely not. 10 years ago, I would never have been able to do that. It's because I worked on myself and listened to my feelings. I validated myself. Validating yourself is crucial. Again, I know I just talked about it, but how do we not go on if we don't hear our own heart speaking to us, our own feelings, right? That's how you build strength. That's how you build courage. That builds connection with yourself. The more connected with yourself, the more at peace you will be, and the better advocate you will be for animals. Because you won't be holding on to those outcomes of what people think or what they say. You will be going on to the next person and saying, okay, that person wasn't ready, right? Who's ready? So I had this experience, and I did talk about this the other day. I really wanted to talk to one of my friends who's in poor health about eating. And we had just had our meeting at the Healthy Living Group the week before, and so the topic came up, and that person didn't want to hear me, and I was hearing it. I wasn't listening, fully listening. I heard it. He doesn't want to hear, and I threw out a few more nuggets, and I should have just stopped then, but okay. So I gave up. Okay. Oh well, didn't want to hear it. So start to go down that rabbit hole of I failed, which is not true. I did not fail. I did a great job. I've overstepped a little bit. That's okay. I forgive myself. I acknowledge it. I forgive myself, and I move on. And then probably an hour later, someone came up and said, I want to hear more. I want to hear about this whole food, plant-based vegan lifestyle. And there was my captive audience. There was the one who was ready. And so that was just a great reminder again, who's ready? We're not going to spend all our energy on the people that aren't ready, right? Okay, so Claudia is saying, one neighbor told me he prefers to die by illness than giving up meat. Okay, so that's very sad, but that's what his truth is at that moment, right? And that's the neighbor's choice. So how he feels in that moment on that day, so we're changing animals. The human animal is changing. Our thoughts are changing. As our life changes, our thoughts change, our experiences change. I mean, obviously, because that's why we're vegan. So this person who has said that, it might not always be like that, right? They're on their journey too. And that's the thing. Maybe he will die of illness, which would be very sad. And my heart goes out to this person. And my heart goes out to you, Claudia, because I know you want to help everyone. I want to know you have a beautiful heart and want to spread this word, this beautiful word of whole food, plant-based eating, healthy living, veganism for our planet, the animals, for ourselves. And but again, we have to allow and discover. So what you discovered was he didn't want to hear anymore. So validation would look like someone says, I prefer to die by illness and give up meat. Oh, so I'm hearing this sounds like you don't really want to talk about this, or you're okay with the way that things are, and I would have to validate and allow it to be what it is. Someone told me they would rather that we need to cut back on the population, so they would sacrifice themselves rather than eat healthy. Apparently, is what they meant. Rather than switch to a vegan diet, I'll just go ahead and die. And I had to suck in that lump, which I'm sure, Claudia, you've experienced. Many of us have experienced. Like, okay, I'm gonna like hold back my tongue and just say, okay, that's your choice. And all right. And next, right? Who's next? Who's coming to me wanting to hear the good news? Right? Because I'm here with my smile on, and it's not fake. Yeah, I know it's not fake. I'm very optimistic. I mean, you all give me optimism, everything you're doing. So I know that together we're strong. And again, let me know what you've learned from this, if anything, and what you think about validation, and how you can bring that into your relationships, into your conversations, what would that look like? How would that change things? If we validate right away, validate what they're saying right away, how would that change things? How would that change the course of conversation? How would it make it a greater experience with two people expressing ideas and really wanting to hear? So let's see, here's another comment from Claudia. Years ago, I went with an organized group to Greece, and then the group leader wanted to force me at the table to eat meat because we made a wander journey. So I left the group and traveled alone. Okay. So what I'm hearing here is that you were acknowledging you're acknowledging your needs, Claudia. You were listening to your feelings, you were listening to your heart, and you knew that didn't resonate with you, right? So you wanted to live in alignment of who you are, and so you left the group and traveled alone. So yes, and that's very disrespectful when people want to force something. I mean, so what I'm saying is just very important. People are trying to force us to eat meat, right? And it's the same way. We don't want to force someone not to. We don't want to force. Forcing doesn't work. So what forcing did in this situation was force Claudia away, right? It's disrespectful. So we've got to hold a high level of gracefulness, respectfulness, validation, validating, because people want to be heard, and they want you to feel them, right, from your heart. Again, this is all woo 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 woo, but it's true. It's true. We're emotional animals. We don't want to be driven by emotion, like raging on people, but we want to feel our emotions, acknowledge them, and move forward with logic also. There's got to be a good balance, right, of emotion and Mr. Spock, right? I love to use Mr. Spock because he's very logical, and when I need him, I call him in, right? When I need the masculine energy also, I call in that masculine. And that's what Mr. Spock is, masculine. That masculine energy to defend me, to stand up for myself, to get me going, right? get me up and out, right? I don't want to be discovering all the time. I mean, discover, but when I discover, I need to take action. That's when you bring the masculine in, to take action once you've discovered, right? I discover that this store is open for me to hand out flyers, right? So now I'm going to take action and do it. So it's all a beautiful balance um, of learning and experiencing. And so I've been on this journey for many, many years. I mean, hating myself till I was in my 40s. Now I'm 55. Thank God I've escaped my own inner tyrant, let myself out of my own prison, let all the people out of it that were in with me that I used to blame. When I blamed them, I brought them into the prison of that just to torment myself, right? It didn't hurt them, but I hurt myself. But since then, I've escaped. And now I work to empower people also to escape the self torment and just the anger that holds us back. This problem focused again. So when we're problem focused, we don't listen and we don't validate. So I want you all to be amazing validators of people. I validate you all, right? I validate how beautiful you are and your contribution to this earth. All right, y'all. So if you have any more questions, let me know. If not, then I'll wrap up this live stream because I was going to let it be what it is, right? I would discover who will be on the live stream, what will happen, right? Who can I validate? I validate you, Claudia, for stepping up with people and sharing your vegan light. I validate you that that people are liking your Go Vegan posts. And I validate everyone and Angela that's watching, for her joyfulness and the way that she is physically empowering people and how you said water with kindness. I like this. Yes, amen to that, right? So, and yes, Angela saying bats are beautiful. I got a lot of sweet comments. And I'm not sure who this is, but thank you for clapping. I think that's clapping. That's very sweet. But yeah, here comes another comment. Validating is a vital point. I'll try to focus on that. Yes, and I will try to too. I definitely will. It'll slow everything down. And it will be worth it because we've got to build rapport. Earthling Ed says that we're not trying to change anybody when we talk to them. We just want to bring awareness and we want to build that rapport and we want to validate and hear them so they feel heard and they'll come back to us, right? I can't remember who it was, but someone was talking about years later, thinking that they hadn't made an impact, but people coming back years later, 2 or 3 years later and saying, you made a change. And then, how amazing that's very validating for us, isn't it? That what we're doing is worthwhile. So keep planting seeds in the fertile soil of love and kindness, compassion and empathy, validating, and watch those little seeds grow, right? Watch the seeds grow. Share your love with the world, and you will prosper. I love you all. I'm very excited, and you all have really put me in a good mood. So I'm thankful for you. And I'm going to say goodbye, I guess. Let's see here. One more comment. Here in France, many have no computers. They just look at TV and have no idea about the connections. It's very sad. I was thinking about that too. How we're losing connections with nature and each other. So, but that's why I love you all. And so, I love you, Angela. Y'all are a blessing. And all right, wrapping it up. Thanks for watching, everybody. Reach out to me. I'd love to talk to you. If you want to be on the show, Angela, I'd love to have you back. I'd love to have any of you all that want to share your wisdom on this show because we all learn from each other. We are a tremendous blessing to one another. Thank you, Claudia. Bye, everyone. Love you. Namaste, vegan.